Welcome to the Unshakable Soul Podcast. My name is Sophia with Messy Cuts, and I'm happy you're here today. I'm glad you are tuning in because this conversation, I just spent the last 2 hours kind of jotting things down, and I really think it's going to be very potent for a lot of the listeners here. Regardless if you are man or woman, although the thematic is geared towards women, it still very much incorporates any men out there because we're talking about feminine embodied leadership. And we all have both the masculine and the feminine within us. Okay? So yes, our thematic is feminine embodied leadership, and more particularly, I want to share with you 7 key principles to embody this flavoring of leadership. And this is really an invitation to remember a natural way of living where we're actually able to come back into deeper harmony within ourselves and inevitably with others, with nature, with life as a whole. So like anything I share, this is not a dogmatic way of sharing what I have personally experienced and my vision for humanity. It is really about feeling into what resonates. So whatever doesn't resonate, you can chuck it away in the compost and be like, okay, I don't need that. Okay? But if anything does resonate with you, feel into it. Feel into that in your body. Okay. So the way I'm going to break down this conversation we're going to have today is threefold. I'm going to start with an overview of the feminine longing. And then after that, I'm going to go into, what's actually holding us back? And again, that section, I was feeling into this when I was writing my talking points. I can do like several episodes on what's actually holding us back from this leadership style that we're being called into. I'm going to choose one. And then after, I'm going to go in the 7 key principles. So stay until the end so you can get the juice out of everything and also the juice in that particular section, which will offer also reflection, questions, and very simple practices that you can take in your daily life to start actually embodying these principles. Okay. All right. So grab your tea, get nice and comfy. Maybe you want to lie down and just passively listen to this. That's great. Or maybe you're jotting things down. You do you, boo. Okay. So let's start with the feminine longing for more. When you even feel in the word longing, to me anyways, it brings about this desire for like reaching for something out there, right? There's this desire for more. The feminine wants to fill herself up. The masculine wants to empty out. Okay? The feminine, she wants this deep connection with life, with others, with herself. She is wired for connection. Through her connection, she can share love. The masculine, on the other hand, tends to want the freedom, the peace, the spaciousness, the nothingness. Okay? So for today, I'm going to focus on the feminine longing for more. And it's not necessarily more things, like material things, not more success or more productivity, efficiency or validation. No, this speaks to more depths. The feminine's like the black hole. She's the depth, she's the void, she's the mystery through which everything emerges. She's craving for more presence, more aliveness. And as I mentioned, the cherry on top is authentic connection, intimate, authentic connection with life, with others, with herself. Okay? And what's tending to happen right now is that instead of seeking within self for that depth, for that presence, that aliveness, that reconnection, women nowadays in the modern world are seeking it outside of themselves. Through their doingness, through their busyness, through all the responsibilities, all the accomplishments, all the capabilities she has to hold it all together, through the people pleasing. There's a lot of ways that we actually distort our reality into thinking that what I need is out there, what I want is out there. Forgetting that everything that you desire starts from within here, within you. So what happens nowadays is that we have women that are overwhelmed, burnt out, because they think they have to prove their worth, they have to earn their rest and their pleasure and their ease. And that only happens when I reach 60 years old, because it's the freedom, well, before 55, now it's whatever, freedom at 75 maybe. So I have to wait. And only when I've achieved X, Y, Z, I can then, whatever it is that you actually want to do, start the business, go on the trip, travel around the world, have the family, whatever. And what if there was a different way to live your life? Instead of waiting for permission, time just going by, why not begin now? Why not begin now? Okay. So the way that we are being invited into this beginning now paradigm is becoming the creator of your life. Instead of seeking permission and validation out there, I start sourcing from my own self-worth. I start creating from a sense of I am good enough. I am enough just as I am. And instead of actually disconnecting myself and continuing with the pace of life that is not actually conducive for my feminine blueprint, I intentionally choose to live differently. This is a great rebellion that's happening right now as I speak, with many women that are waking up and reclaiming their power. And again, this word is being splattered here and there. And for the sake of this conversation, I'll just illuminate really simply what that means. A reclamation means that there was nothing lost. It's a remembrance. And power for the feminine relates to her energy. Okay, so what you're saying, Sophia, is that there's a remembrance of my own energy. What the fuck are you talking about? Stay with me. When a woman remembers her innate worth and the power that she has to create new paradigms of living, new creations in the world, she births new realities, nothing can stop her. She no longer needs to dim her light. She no longer needs to hide herself away. She no longer needs to silence her voice. Because she's not looking for approval. She's not looking for permission. She's not looking for validation. Her presence becomes a healing force for all. For her kids, for her parents, for her grandparents, for the people that are deceased in another life. For her lineage in the past and generations to come. So however old you are right now, let us not use age as an excuse, because I hear that way too often and it really fucking annoys me. I'm too old for that. No. Oh, you don't have any kids, so you don't understand. No. We're all birthing something unique in this world, regardless of whether it's a physical baby or if it's a vision, if it's a new relationship, if it's an empire, a business. It doesn't matter. We are constantly birthing. We are constantly manifesting. This is another word that's always thrown around there. We're constantly doing it, from the thoughts we choose to believe to the beliefs that we choose to believe as truth, to our words that cast spell, to our actions that lead to the reality that we're actually living, that perpetuates certain people coming into our lives, what we're attracting. And that all begins with your energy. And again, this word is also a big word that gets thrown around there, but very simply, energy is everything. My energy are my thoughts. My energy is my beliefs then. My energy is my voice, my words. My energy are my actions. It is within the tangible and intangible realm that we get to weave a new paradigm of living and creating actually a life for ourselves and ultimately for humanity where we thrive instead of merely survive. So let me reel myself back. If you've been with me for a while, you know I like to go on tangents when one thought leads to the other. It's what happens when I'm in my channeling mode. Back to my points. The feminine longing for more. To conclude, when life is moving too quickly for her, she starts disconnecting from her body because she's trying to keep up with a pace that's not even hers, not a rhythm that feels good for her. Then that means that there is no space for her to feel. There's no space for her to feel her emotions, her pain, her grief, her sadness. She learns to bottle things up because she needs to hold everything together. Thus why the nervous system learns to brace itself, and we are constantly living in chronic stress, in fight, flight, or freeze mode. So your feminine longing is quite far away and feels inaccessible because you'll tell me, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy, which they're all the same. It all comes back to energy. And feminine embodied leadership, to the core of it, is a reclamation of your energy, which is also a reclamation of your time. And within that is the choice that you have on who you hang out with and what you choose to invest your time and money in. Okay? Because the true longing of the feminine is to be seen in her fullness, to be felt in her truth, and to live out her greatest expression, whatever that is for you. Okay? And this longing, as I'm mentioning, it's nothing about seeking it out there. It's asking you to live it more fully in here. In here. In your body. And we start leading from this place, which is a place from the inside out, that honors your feminine essence and blueprint. You begin to feel more alive in your body. You make choices that are aligned rather than reactive. You're responding from a place of inner wisdom instead of nervous system reactivity, a fear response. And you begin creating a life that actually deeply is satisfying and authentic. And the beauty in all of this is that in doing so, you give others the permission to also do the same. Now, it sounds all grandiose and you're probably like, okay, this is great, or this sounds like really simple, but like a little more complex to put into practice. let me share with you what is blocking a lot of women from truly claiming their own leadership and living as the embodied leader that they're designed to be. The good girl. Let's bring in the good girl. Let me take a sip of my ducky. So for many women, the greatest obstacle on their path to creating the life that they wish to live is not a lack of desire or capabilities. We have a lot of desires, a lot of longings, and we're very, very capable for the most of us. It's the way that we've learned to cope and the way that we've actually self-sabotaged our own desires from manifesting into reality. And that's why good girl's coming in. We're going to invite good girl in as one of the archetypes that has protected us from perceived harm, has served us for set duration of time, and if we choose to believe so, is no longer serving us from now onwards. The good girl is a part of us that learn really early on, usually in childhood, to be agreeable, to sit nicely, to say nice things or the right quote-unquote things, to be helpful, to be easy to be around with. Don't be too much. To not take too much space. So she learned that love and safety came from being liked, being palatable, being nice, good, being chosen. Again, this external validation, please choose me, being low maintenance, or also being productive or pleasing, not ruffling too many feathers. The good girl is not bad or wrong. She is your survival strategy, coping mechanism. Because that's how she felt love and connection. That's how she felt she belonged. That's how she got attention from mommy and daddy. That's how she felt valuable. But when she leads your life now in adulthood, your body pays the price. Your soul pays the price. And ultimately, everybody around you is paying the price. Okay? So how does that actually manifest? This good girl that you have within you is going to override your intuition, your inner knowing. She's going to keep you up in the mind. Your energy, instead of being down here, down low, in your hara, where all the decisions should be made from, it's up here, fearful mind. But a lot of the time it's very confused and overwhelmed. She dismisses fatigue. She says, no, gotta keep going. Gotta keep going, gotta catch up. Gotta do all the things. She confuses self-sacrifice with virtue. Oh, I'm doing the good thing. I'm being a really nice person and just helping everybody else. But then you're realizing that your well is empty. She stays quiet when something feels off. And all of this over time breeds resentment, breeds frustration, breeds anger, breeds sometimes rage. And that's when you have these emotional bursts from women, because fuck, there's a part of them that wants to come out that's like, hello, la, la, la. And unfortunately, this usually comes out on their partners. Or in inopportune moments and times when it just goes, blah. So this is part of the responsibility of a leader, is to own your inner landscape. Okay, the good girl lives from approval rather than truth. So all of her techniques, her micromanaging, controlling ways, her people pleasing, is because she's actually deeply afraid of losing connection and love. She needs validation from somebody else, from her kids, from her partner, from her boss, from her relatives, whatever, from her mom. Feminine embodied leadership is asking for something radically different. It's asking for honesty over keeping the peace. It's asking for integrity over performative image. It's asking for self-trust over external validation. Outgrowing the good girl is not asking you to become selfish or harsh. It means becoming self-led. And yes, that does require setting boundaries for a lot of women that are listening out there. For some, it requires the sacred no. For some others, it requires the sacred yes. Yes to what's calling you. Yes to what's fully alive and joyful to you. Is how often do you not give yourself the permission to experience joy and pleasure and ease and rest? Because it's not productive, quote unquote, and there's other things to do. When actually that pleasure is medicine and juice. And through you living in your pleasure, you are attracting that what you desire. You are becoming a magnet for the relationship you desire, for the partnership, for the whatever clients, for the respect that you desire, whatever it is. That act of self-pleasure, for example, is devotion, it's self-respect. You're teaching people how to treat you. You communicate without needing to verbalize your communication, just because you are embodying the frequency of love and of truth and of self-respect and of self-worth and everything that you desire more of. So again, we're shifting the paradigm from like blaming, being the victim, being the savior, I gotta say everybody, to really being self-responsible and honoring your truth and leading with integrity. Listening to your body, honoring your rhythms and your cycles. The good girl seeks permission. The embodied woman claims her authority. She claims her crown. And many women are standing in this threshold right now. So let's take a breath in and exhale out. A small little pause here. That's good tea. Okay, so feel for you. Feel into your body what's resonating. Feel into truth. And again, whatever doesn't resonate, chuck it in the bucket. I'm going to move on now to the 7 principles of feminine embodied leadership. So we gave a little bit of a background now on this feminine longing for more, but not necessarily in terms of material stuff. It's really about depths, about connection, about presence, aliveness. And then we went into, okay, well, what's actually stopping her from experiencing this? And we talked about the good girl and how this coping mechanism that we learned to live with is now perhaps ruining our ability to birth a new reality, essentially. A new reality in which love is experienced as unconditional, where harmony is the new norm within yourself and all around you, where joy is spontaneous and genuine, where we live in deeper connection with one another. As a preface, feminine embodied leadership is not a strategy. It's not a set of rules. It is a way of relating to your body, yourself, and life. Just as everything is connected. This type of leadership moves from the inside out instead of from the outside in. And it's not a dominating leadership power over, it's actually a collective, connective leadership power with. My empowerment leads to your empowerment, and when we both are empowered, we rise together and we create a movement. We inspire change, not because it's forced or pushed upon another, because it comes from a deep place within. Feminine embodied leadership is rooted in truth, in rhythm, in nervous system safety, in trust, in emotional truth, in embodied presence. I'm here for it all, for the pain, for the tears, for the joy, for the bliss, for the pleasure, for the grief. I'm not pushing anything away. This is also the path of Tantra. I embrace all of life. God is not something out there that I can't reach. God is you. So this style of leadership arises from this felt sense of wholeness. I am whole. There's nothing more to be, there's nothing to fix in me. It comes from harmony. I'm in harmony with my feminine and masculine energy. There's structure and there's flow, and they're dancing beautifully together. It's coming from truth rather than this performative, weird image that I think is going to give me the likes, the applause, the approval, whatever. It's coming from connection, from deep connection to your own truth, to your body, to your heart. Rather than from trying to control your external environment. This is the great shift from doing to be enough to being enough to do. I'm going to say it again. We are shifting from doing to be enough, to feel good enough. Please tell me I'm good enough. To being enough already. I'm claiming it. I am. To do. So you see that shift? I'm giving myself permission to take aligned, imperfect action. Because I'm worthy. Because I'm enough. And I'm allowing myself to do that now. I don't need to wait to have more money. I don't need to wait to be with a perfect man. I don't need to wait to be in the perfect setting under palm trees in the sun. I can start right here, right now. I learned to lead feminine embodied leadership. I have more things coming in. It's about leading with your heart. Letting the heart lead. It's not to say you're disowning the mind. You're creating cohesion within you. Your womb, your heart, and your mind. But you need that alignment. You need the alignment. Your energy needs to be aligned. But ultimately, it's your heart that knows. Your heart is the seat through which all your actions come through. And we have to bring the mind online and attuned in cohesion within the whole system of your being. So I'm leading from this place of vulnerability. And you're standing strong in your boundaries. You're honoring your rhythms, your own pace. You're trusting the natural unfolding of life. There's a deep trust that comes in embodied feminine leadership, because she's so connected to the cycles out there in the seasons and within herself. And she holds the confidence of a queen. She knows that her voice matters, so she expresses herself with fierce grace and devotion to love and truth. So right now I'd love to share the 7 principles to embody this feminine leadership quality in your day-to-day life. Okay? And these are invitations as a way to remember what already lives within you. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're not trying to learn new concepts. We're not doing like a to-do list and checking it off. It's really, these are guiding principles. And each time you read them, each time you're embodying them and integrating them into your daily life, you're coming back to your essence, to who you truly are, beneath the noise, beneath all the pressures that we feel a lot of the times, which ultimately are self-imposed. Okay? So let's take another deep breath in and exhale out. All right. Lego. Number 1. Embrace all parts of you. Embrace all parts of you. Love the whole of you. And be like, okay, Sophia, like, I love me, but do you really? Do you show all of you? This stems from the very harsh truth that a lot of us have had to hide certain parts of ourselves that were less palatable, that are more taboo. And this could look like the sensual goddess. But it could also look like the mother for some. Maybe you thought you wouldn't be a good mother, so you hid that part. Because what you knew and what gained approval for you and applauses was being like the career-driven woman and the more controlling and strong. And I'm giving an example here. And it helps when there's extremes with examples. So just notice if there's any part of you that has been shamed, denied, and repressed. Here's the reflection. What part of you have you sent into the dark chambers? Have you said, you're not safe to be in the light? Because if you come out, then you'll be rejected, you'll be abandoned, you'll be betrayed. You're going to be too much. Remember, you don't want to ruffle the feathers. So we're coming back to good girl syndrome here. Okay, this is part of shadow work territory, embracing all parts of you, really going into your depths and seeing what is there. What part of you is longing for attention, longing to be seen and held and felt. Okay. Number 2 is prioritizing yourself. Fill your own fucking cup first. Sounds super simple, eh? Some of you are nodding like, yeah, easier said than done. For some others, it's like, man, this is so easy. Like for me, it's very easy. But I acknowledge that for a lot of people, especially women that have careers and children, like it gets a little bit harder. But here's the trap. When we start believing that there's no time for me because everybody else needs me, we slowly start our decline into burnout, into resentment, into frustration, into feeling my life is a burden, and a lot of other illnesses that come with suppressing your desires. Because what usually comes with putting yourself last is your pleasure, your rest, your joy, all the things that actually bring life and juice and actually fill your cup up and bring you to that feminine longing, the deep sense of fulfillment and connection. So it's less about how long you take time for yourself or what you actually do, but at the intentional space you're carving for yourself to simply be with yourself, to breathe, to feel. And maybe that looks like on some days a massage. Maybe that looks like a bubble bath. Maybe that looks like a walk in nature. Maybe that looks like simply sipping your nice cup of coffee in the morning, fully present. The greatest gift you can give humanity, your kids, your community, your family, is when you honor yourself and give yourself what you need, because you're then teaching others to do the same. All right, number 3, connect to your cycles. Leaning into your natural rhythms restores a deeper sense of trust within yourself and within life. When you ignore your natural rhythms and keep on pushing, you're setting yourself up for burnout. When you align yourself with the cycles, both external cycles, so we have the seasons, we have the moon phases, we have all the planetary alignments that we can work with, and we align ourselves with their internal cycles, our energy levels, our menstrual cycle, you find flow. And when you're flowing, you're inevitably trusting. Because if I don't trust, I don't flow. The wisdom held in feminine leadership is knowing when to rest, when to bloom, and when to harvest. So let's reflect. Feel into the season you're in right now, both literally and metaphorically. For me, I'm in Canada right now. It's winter. It's January 6th. It's winter. And I'm in a phase in my life that I am birthing something big, a big ecosystem. So I'm in a mothering phase right now, actually. Like a nurturing and incubation phase. And very close to a birthing phase. Very close to birthing this out. And I'll share that with you at the end of this podcast. In any birthing process, there is the nurturing. There is also the very real changes that happen to your body, but also the behaviors that have to change. Things you have to eat or not eat anymore. The way you move is different. So every single change we're encountering and every phase that we're in right now in our life, or whatever we're calling in, or whatever we want to create, we have to be able to prepare ourselves. And sometimes that preparation is letting go. So, what needs to be let go? What needs to be nurtured? What is this season for you asking of you? Number 4, attune to your body. This is about trusting your inner knowing. Instead of coming up to your mind and getting all overwhelmed and confused, we're coming back to the body for guidance. And this is tough because we live in a world that values and worships logic. And if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't have data, it doesn't have proofs, it is thus dismissed. So it leaves little room for your inner wisdom to shine through unless you consciously choose to attune within and to act accordingly. The thing with your intuition is that it cannot be measured or analyzed. It can't even be put into words. It has to be felt. And that's the practice, starting to feel into your intuition, into your deep body knowing, into those signals that's always being communicated to you from within. It's like going to the gym, you're pumping iron to get maybe big or toned or whatever physically. Your intuition is the same thing. We got to practice listening, attuning, and then taking action. That's the ultimate transformation, when you learn to take action. You develop more confidence. So let's reflect. Remember a time when you did trust or didn't. Your intuition, your that gut feeling. How did your body signal this truth? This is about getting curious on how your inner wisdom actually speaks to you. And what is a small step that you can take to begin to attune deeper to her guidance? Maybe you can name this still small voice within you. Starting to personify it makes it more real. Maybe you could start small. Right? What am I having? Pizza or pasta? Very simple. Right? It doesn't need to be huge, big decisions, but start where you're at. All right, number 5. Anchor into unshakable self-worth. This is a big one. There is nothing about you that needs fixing. There is nothing about you that needs fixing. A lot of us carry this perfectionism tendency. And again, society is not helping us. When you look at beauty projects here and there, and then we have social media to add on, and then comparison, and then we're just really have a dysmorphia, body dysmorphia that's raging right now. Especially the young generation, but I think any, perhaps, generation, but a lot of the young generation. This is very important to hear right now. That you are valuable just as you are, inherently, by being a woman. And I know I can maybe feel the people out there that's saying, well, in the countries where the woman is put in, cage and blah, blah. I acknowledge that. And it is a sad truth that's happening in our world right now, is the continual shaming of women and denying of their humanity in parts of the world. But here I'm speaking to the women that are privileged to have a roof, to be able to speak, and enough food to eat, and perhaps money and self-sufficiency in that way. It's actually realizing that you are the change that you are the person, when you start connecting with your own innate power and your unshakable worth from your mere existence. That's how we free thousands of women around us. Even if it's just one. Even if it's just yourself. Because here's the sad belief that a lot of us have. Once I fix this one thing about myself, whether it's my body, my emotions, my confidence, my relationship status, then I'll be happy. Then I'll finally feel worthy. You're worthy right now. You're worthy of taking a bath, of taking a massage, of going on a trip, taking a sabbatical. Whatever it is that is authentic to you right now, whatever your feminine longing is craving for, the intimacy that maybe you've been craving for a while, but you never mustered up the voice to share and to communicate that with your partner. You are worthy. You don't need permission. So here's the practice. Shifting your focus from needing this external validation and approval to gaining internal clarity on what it is you actually want. What truly matters to my heart, my body, and my soul right now in this phase in my life. And start aligning those priorities instead of chasing someone else's standard. That's the cornerstone of embodied leadership, is starting to look within, coming from a place of truth instead of from a place of, well, I think you want this. You want me pretty, you want me with plastic surgery, you want me making a lot of money, you want me making no money. It's like, what the fuck? What about you creating a life where you actually get to enjoy your life and enjoy the process of birthing something new, a relationship, a project, an empire, a baby if you want it? Get the clarity and anchor into this very notion that you are innately worthy of being here, of desiring what you desire. And it's not up to anybody else to give it to you. It's up for you to claim. All right. Whew. Oh, I love this. Oh. If you're new on my channel, then now you're getting a feel of a little bit of my depths, my intensity, and sorry, not sorry for this, because I think that's what we need more of. As I was mentioning, this depth, this truth. So thank you for being here if you're still here. Let me know what you think. Let me know what's resonating, what's not resonating. All right, 2 more. Number 6, from the 7 key principles of feminine embodied leadership. Allow more pleasure in your life. So in the same lines that you're innately worthy, and that's going to be maybe a hard one for people to swallow. Because maybe you're like, of course I'm worthy. But when you really look into your life, you're like, oh, wait a second. All the ways that I'm actually telling me I'm not, which are not verbal, they speak through actions. But I'll let you simmer on that. For this point, pleasure is your birthright. And all of these points and all these principles, they tie into one another, of course. Now, pleasure. For some of you, you've already thought of sex. I'm not going to deny sex can be very pleasurable. It also can be very non-pleasurable. Pleasure, I'm going to take that and put it and cast a wider net so that we're not siloing ourselves on just this one thing. Pleasure is vitality. It's aliveness. It's connection to your senses. It's sensuality. It's what makes you feel deeply present and engaged with life. The life moving within you, your energy, your life force energy, your Shakti, and life around you. You don't need to wait for the vacation or the special occasion to access pleasure. Let me bring that back. You do not need to wait for a vacation or a special occasion to access your pleasure. It's already within you. It's running quietly in the background, for some very dormant. For some of us, it sometimes come up and then sometimes down. Blah, blah. And it's up to you to access the infinite well of pleasure that is within you. And it's a skill that you can learn when you slow down and go within. And again, carve the intentional space to experience whatever it is that you're experiencing. And actually be there, be in it. And this does include your emotions and the full spectrum of your emotions. And this ties into point number 1, embrace all parts of yourself, accept all parts of yourself. Because when I embrace all parts of myself, I am no longer afraid of my rage. I'm no longer shaming myself for feeling certain feelings. I'm no longer pedestaling joy, happiness, love. I'm embracing it all, and I'm actually finding pleasure in the pain, in the fear. I'm finding pleasure in expressing those in a healthy way and channeling that energy into creative self-expression. That's what a lot of art comes from a lot of pain and from a lot of ecstasy. Okay? So practice for this, really, it's endless. It could be taking a shower, a bath, dancing, food can be pleasure, sex, of course, can be pleasure, touch, intimacy, nature. And it's all one and the same. It's this stimulation of the senses and your ability to be here now. I'm fully alive and awake. And the last one I have for us from the 7 key principles of feminine embodied leadership is devote yourself to your truth. Let your devotion become a pathway to living with greater ease, joy, connection, love, whatever it is that you want to embody and experience right now. And it's not about rigid discipline, gotta do the same thing every day. It's about lovingly showing up for yourself and for your values every day. When you choose to devote yourself to your truth, you are rewriting the rules. And again, a lot of us are living in accordance to certain rules that we didn't even create, but we've accepted as truth. And you get to rewrite them. And in this moment, you stop sacrificing yourself for someone else's version of success, and you start living in alignment with your own. So this is an invitation for re-envisioning what does a successful and fulfilling and meaningful life look and feel like for you. Maybe you're painting a picture. Maybe you're physically painting a picture. Maybe you have the vision board. But do you have the feeling? Do you have the embodiment of it? Do you live it every single day as if it was happening right now? Because it is. Because it is. So the practice here is to choose one area in your life, whether it's relationship, work, your well-being, creativity, and reflect, how can I show up here in a way that honors my truth? What would devotion look like in this area? And again, we're starting small. Start with small baby steps. And remember that the snowball grows over time. And let your practice evolve with you. Let yourself build a rapport first with yourself. Let that rapport build trust in yourself. Let that trust build your courage to take action. Let that courage and action build the confidence to repeat and to pivot when necessary. I'm going to pause there. I'm going to conclude with this. When these key principles of embodied feminine leadership become alive in your body, clarity comes naturally. Decisions become simpler. And you experience more joy and ease in your life. Leadership basically becomes an expression of who you are. It's not something you're striving to become. You're finally allowing yourself to be who you've always been. So this process is one of revelation, revealing what's been concealed and allowing the truth, the whole of you, to come forward. And yes, you will disappoint some. And yes, you may lose, quote unquote, people on the way. And that's part of the practice. Are you okay when perhaps some family members, friendships, colleagues, business partners start falling away? Can you let them? Not because they're bad people, but because you are coming into deeper embodiment of your truth. And maybe they didn't see that before, and they're not really on board with this person right now. But can you stay within your truth? Stay within your devotion and trust in life and trust in your unfolding and trust that the people that are meant to be with you at this phase of your life, you are calling them in by being. Simply by being you. Well, 58 minutes. If you're still here, deep bow. If you had to go, also deep bow. All right. Oi, thanks for listening in. I have just a little invitation for those that feel called to go deeper. I'm offering a 4-day initiation into the art of feminine embodied leadership, January 15th to 18th. It's called She Who Chooses Her Rhythm. And it's all about reconnecting with your body's own cyclical wisdom and attuning from that place and aligning your energy within you so that you can take action that is authentic and true to you and start living in devotion instead of from a place of rushing and fear of being behind, which often leads to burnout and resentment and a lot of anger. Starting to lead from the inside out. Everything that I've shared with you today, we get to go through a 4-day journey together. so that we're entering what's soon to come, the fire horse, which is coming February 17th. We're preparing ourselves right now to enter the year with more clarity, ease, and alignment. Okay? So, this is the gateway into a much longer journey that I also have brewing within me. It's called Rhythms of Remembrance. The doors are not open yet. They're going to open for enrollment January 18th. But this is the long journey of 9 months, the ongoing support where you are held in a community space of 13 women. So I am offering this smaller, intimate connection because I find that that really breeds a space where women feel more inclined to share. And that's really where the magic comes through. And we're able in this journey to walk all the seasons together, the whole cycle of birthing anew. And again, a lot of you are not birthing physical babies, or some of you are. But it's a lot about birthing a new paradigm of living, loving, and leading. One from a place of wholeness, from a place of truth and deep connection. Okay. So if anything within you says, yes, already, I'm going to put the link to the waiting list so you can hop on. Or if you're not sure yet about the longer journey, come join the 4-day initiation, She Who Chooses Her Rhythm. It's a pay what feels right offering. I want to make it as accessible as possible to really offer you a good, solid foundation of clarity and alignment so that you can take it with you in the rest of the year. All right, loves. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate it if you can share this message forward to anybody who you believe would resonate with the thematic and the topic of today's episode. And until I see you again, keep on anchoring into your truth, into your body, and leading from that space.